welcome to another episode of Vic's Garage. Today in the Charger build series, I'm going to work on getting the dash and the instrument cluster out of the car so that we can get a good look at the rest of the firewall and stuff on the inside, and maybe get started on repairing that dash pad I have on there. So without wasting any further time, let's get to it.
Before we get started, let's go over quickly the tools you're going to need. You need a ratchet with a long extension, a swivel, a 7/16 socket and a 3/8 socket, and a short screwdriver. Okay, so I'm going to go over the procedure to remove the dash from third generation Chrysler B-bodies quickly here with the dash out of the car. I tried to explain it as I filmed and went along, but it was tight in the car and you couldn't really show everything well. So just go over it quickly here, and that way everyone knows what to do. So first of all, you don't need to remove the cluster. Now I did, and it was kind of helpful, I think, because when you tip the dash forward, it would have been resting on the steering wheel and potentially damaging it. But this procedure would work easier with two people. I did it by myself, so if you have a second person, it's probably not really going to make a difference. You can probably leave it in. First thing you're going to want to do is disconnect as much wiring as possible. So you can unscrew your fuse panel and stuff right from the firewall, and that'll disconnect literally 99% of it. After you disconnect the fuse panel and wiring, you're going to unscrew this vent speaker plate cover on the top. There's 7 screws that hold it. You got 4 across the top by the vents and 3 across the bottom. You see them here. So once you disconnect or unscrew that, put that out of the way. You've got 4 3/8 bolts across the top. It's right here. Sorry, right there. See them. Unbolt those, and then you've got 2 7/16 ones on the side. So use the swivel and a long ratchet to reach the ones up top. That way you don't have to remove your windshield. Then loosen the 2 7/16 ones on the side. And once you loosen those, don't remove them. You could tip the dash forward. If you tip the dash forward, then you can get behind it to remove the remaining wiring and stuff that you couldn't reach. So behind the glove box, there is the heater box. I think there's 3 connectors on top of the heater box that have to be disconnected. And there's some various other stuff that might have been difficult to reach, including the vent controls and stuff like that. So disconnect those and any other wiring, and then you should be able to lift it right out. That was much easier. You can see the top bolts now. I will get my socket and get working on those. Okay, now there is, you can see here, a bolt like that on either side. We'll get those next. So the bolt on the side is a 7/16. Now these ones, you don't want to loosen all the way and take them right out. Just want to loosen them so that you can tilt the dash back, and then it should lift right over it. All right. And there we go. Just connect the last little bit of wiring, and she's out. So I'm just going to show you the wiring on top of the heater box that you have to disconnect. You can only reach that once you tilt the dash down. You can also see some of the heater vent controls there and there under by the steering wheel. You have to disconnect those as well. Okay, moment of truth. I think I've disconnected everything I can, and it should come out now. So let's see what happens here. Ta-da! Okay, so I got the dash down in the house into my little workshop area. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. Frame's not rusted or anything like that, where I've seen some people had a lot more work to do than I will. I'm probably gonna end up getting it stripped and then some fresh paint on it. Whoever did it before me, you can see like some drips and stuff like that. It wasn't the best job. I put one of these dash pads on that go over top of the old cracked ones, and then it eventually cracked on its own, as you can see here. So they didn't hold up. It's gonna have to come off anyways. The old dash with a little bit of silicone glue to hold it down. So I'll have to get that all cleaned up, and then have to fill the cracks on that are underneath that. Clean up the wiring, because that was a huge mess in there. It's been hacked and slashed for, well, what, almost 50 years now. I'm pretty sure it wasn't all like this from the factory, just electrical tape holding everything together. Plenty of wires that were not color matching or anything like that. It was just a complete mess. So I'll have to take care of that. But now that it's inside, it's something I can work on through the winter. So that's good. All right, there you have it. Got the dash out of the car. A little bit more difficult than I thought, but not overly difficult. Definitely would have benefited from having a second person. I want to give a shout out to Instagram follower Baba Bobso. He reminded me of getting the metal plate off the top, and mentioned how you can get it down, kind of refresh some of the steps I forgot about. Yeah, the process itself with a second person would go much easier. I could have left the instrument cluster in, but I'm kind of glad I did take it out in the end, because when I had it tilted down, it was kind of resting on the steering wheel there. So unless I took the steering wheel out, which would have been another pain in the butt that I didn't want to tackle right now either, it would have potentially damaged my cluster, which isn't in bad shape overall. So again, procedure, take the metal plate off the top. There's 4 or 5 bolts across the top. Use the long ratchet extension with the swivel. Get those bolts out. Loosen the 2 on the sides. That allows you to tip it forward. When you tip it forward, you can get behind the back where the heater controls were, where I showed you. I think there was 2 or 3 connectors on top of that. Disconnect the rest of the lines for the heater vents. And unscrew all the wiring from the firewall. And it should come out, hopefully. But having that second person to kind of balance it,
while the other guy's running around disconnecting stuff, would have been really helpful. So anyways, that was it. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Check out the Instagram page again, same as the YouTube page, Vic's Garage. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.